Okay, so on your quiz tomorrow, first thing that I would always do is make sure that I draw my circle first. It says we have a diameter of 6 feet. Diameter goes all the way across. We're looking for an exact and an approximate. So I'm going to do an exact, if I spell it right, and an approximate. Okay. So when we do this, the first thing we need to do is say, hey, we know our diameter is 6. On my formula sheet, I have C equals pi times D when I'm given the diameter. So I get to say C equals exact, we don't touch the pi, times 6. I don't like it being written like this, so I put my pi after my number. It's feet, and I'm done with my exact. My approximate though, C equals pi D. Same formula, but now we're substituting in for pi. So C equals 3 1400 times 6. So now I'm going to get my calculator. 3 1400 times 6 leaves me with 18 8400 feet. Okay, draw the picture. So again, I know that we know different sprinklers, but it's going in a circular pattern. So here's the sprinkler, and it's spraying. So it's spraying in a circle. Each time that it sprays, that's my radius, and that's 10 feet. So I would draw my circle. So we're trying to find the area. Only 140 formula for the area. Area equals pi r squared. But in this case, we've got 22/7 is pi, multiplying by my radius, which is 10 squared. I want to show you how I do this in the calculator. 22 divided by 7, do not press enter, times 10 squared. Now I can press enter. The thousandth spot tells me what to do to the hundredths, because we're rounding, so the 5 tells me to round up, and I'm left with 314 2900 in this case, feet squared. I'm just showing you the mathematical portion. What is the area of grass covered? You should have a sentence on the quiz. The area of grass covered by water is 314 2900 feet squared. Number 3. A circle has an area, and this is the one, if anyone is going to give you trouble, this will be it. We're looking for the diameter, but it's given the area. So the only thing that I can use is the area formula. So I substitute in 314 equals. It doesn't tell me what to use for pi, so I've told you to use 3 1400 times r squared. I divide both sides by 3 1400. That leaves me with r squared equals 100. The inverse of squaring is taking the square root. On the yellow calculators, you have to press second, x squared, enter in your 100, press enter. So r equals 10. On your formula sheet though, we're looking for the diameter. It does tell us that d equals 2 times r. So d equals 2 times 10. So my diameter is 20 inches. Okay. So area of the semicircle. Again, fine. We've got our diameter is, you can't see that, is 30. But we need our radius for area. So we divide the diameter by 2 and we get 15. So now I can say A equals pi r squared. And on the test, I'll tell you whether to use 3 1400 for the exact. We're just going to round. A equals 3 1400 times 15 squared. Let the calculator do the work. 3 1400 times 15 to the second power leaves me with 706 and 5/10. But this is for a full circle. So to get the semicircle, we have to divide it by 2. So semi is I'm going to take 706 and 5/10, divide it by 2. So I divide that by 2, and I'm left with 353 and 25/100 feet squared. Okay, because it's a semicircle. Perimeter. Perimeter talks about circumference. So the first thing that we're going to do is find the circumference of the semicircle. So we have the diameter, pi d. So c equals 3 1400 times 30. So the c for a full circle, so this is the full circumference, is 3 1400 times 30, leaves me with 94 2/10. But I want the half, so I divide it by 2. The half circumference leaves me with 47 1/10 feet. That is just this portion. That's the circumference of the circle. But the perimeter also includes this straight line. So we have to take 47 1/10 plus 30 no tenths, which gives me 77 1/10 feet as my perimeter. Okay. My tripod just fell. Each section of the square is 13. So the area of the square itself is 13 times 13, which is 169 feet squared. But how do I find the area of that semicircle? A equals pi r squared. A equals 3 1400 times, well, it's not 13 because that's the diameter. 13 divided by 2, oh, it gives me 6 5/10 as my radius squared. Remember, this is for a full circle, so 3 1400 times 6 5/10 squared leaves me, when I round to the nearest hundredth, 132 67/100 feet squared. That's for a full circle. We want half. So we divide this by 2. So 132 67/100 divided by 2 leaves me with 66. So now I have the area of this is 66. And when I round, 3400 feet squared. So how do I find the area of it all? I add it. 66 and 3400 plus 169 and no hundreds. 4, 3, 5, 1, 12, 13, 1. So it leaves me with 235 and 3400 feet squared. Last but not least, this is actually a 6, and I told you that, so my radius is 6 feet. To find the area of the triangle, well, this radius is 6, which means this is 6, so the whole thing is 12. So to find the area of the triangle first, I do A equals 1/2 times 12 times 13, so that gives me 6 times 13, 78 feet squared. That's my triangle. My circle is A equals pi r squared. A equals 3 1400 times 6 squared, which is 113 400 feet squared, but we have to divide that by 2, which leaves me with the area of half, so just the semicircle, of 56 5200 feet squared, and then I add my 2 together. So I'm going to come over and say 78 plus 56 5200 which gives me 4, 1, that's 12. So there's the area of the combined figure. I will be in tomorrow morning if you have any questions.